Good morning. Welcome to Mill Ridge. My name is Price Bell, and meet our newest farm resident, a filly, which is a little girl, by Oscar Performance, who is a stallion here on the farm. And her mother, who is standing at watch here, is named Unicity. So this is, we would say in our language, we would say, or in our nomenclature, I guess you'd say, we would say that this is a Unicity and her Oscar Performance filly foal. I want to make sure, I think we're good. Okay, great. So I'm going to try and keep my comments up. So if y'all have questions, I want to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Price Bell, as I've said. This is Mill Ridge Farm. Mill Ridge is a nursery farm in Lexington, Kentucky. We're located near the airport. And over the next, I don't know how long we're going to be here together. I'm here as long as y'all want me, and Maggie will keep me. But we're going to try and show you all and share our foal crop this year. So this is our newest, and then hopefully we'll work our way to our oldest. So far we've had about 60 foals, 65 foals so far this year, and we've got about 4 more to go. Typically, horses are, sorry guys. Horses are prey animals, and so they typically will foal under the cover of night, where they feel safe. I'm working with a gimbal to hopefully keep a nice steady cam, and that's my goal. But sometimes it will want to stay steady, and other times it might not. So if y'all have questions, let me know. This mama and baby's routine. So she was born last night, and she was inspected by the veterinarian this morning, and then she'll be going out with her mom tomorrow. Here's one that was born the day before. This is a little Arrogate filly out of a mare named Mademoiselle Coco. If that's not a good name. Mademoiselle Coco was owned by and this filly is owned by some dear friends from Louisville, Mrs. Dillman, Nancy Dillman, and her husband, Dr. Carl Dillman. And this is an Arrogate filly. And Arrogate was a gray horse. And this filly may also turn into be a gray, which I know is hard to believe, because you might look at her as a chestnut right now. But if you look very closely, she'll come around and say hi. Right around her eyes, hey mama, right around her eyes, she has a little bit of white around her eyes. And I know, so proud of you, sorry. So she was born 2 days ago. So this is about a 30-hour-old horse, filly foal. So you'll see I'm dipping my feet into that disinfectant to make sure that I don't carry anything into the stall with her. So, we've got to maintain good biosecurity, so that because we don't want to get any sickness. Just like this barn here, our foaling barn, is like a the maternity ward at the hospital. We want to make sure that we don't move any sort of virus or bugs between stalls. It's so funny, I think, now, after us all going through 2020, we know more about viruses than we ever might have cared to. But you see this foal here by Arrogate is kind of like Essential Quality. There have been some great posts of Essential Quality as a foal, and I think he was a dark bay prior to prior to what he is now, which is a white horse or gray horse. And if you look very closely at those initial essential quality photos, you can see that he has just a little bit of gray hairs around his eye. And this little filly also has just a few gray hairs around her eye. But what an expression she has. She is a lovely, lovely foal. So I don't know. I'm probably screwing something up here, but I can't quite see if there are comments coming through. But that's okay. We'll pop them in if possible. If not, so this filly, for those race fans as well, Mademoiselle Coco is a sister to Havre de Grace. Havre de Grace was champion horse of the year, I guess about 8 or 9 years ago. She beat the boys in a race in New York, and that crowned her horse of the year. And she was Havre de Grace was raised in Louisville, was foaled here at Mill Ridge, and then raised in Louisville, I guess in Anchorage, and then came here to prepare to be sold, and was certainly a pride of Mill Ridge and the Dillman family. And so after that, Mrs. Dillman wanted to keep breeding from the family, and kept this mare named Mademoiselle Coco. So we're thrilled with her, and excited about the future with that hopefully someday this filly could be a good runner and retire to keep the family going. Let's see, who else do we have here? This is a Fleeting Lady and her Uncle Mo filly. Hi. I love it. So this is the foaling barn. So it's a nice, peaceful time. I'm going to dip my feet again, make sure that I don't carry anything out as I walk the barn. But it's a lovely time of day at this stage of the morning. The routine is that we will have brought most things in the morning, or rather for the foaling mares, which are turned out right over there. For the foaling mares, let's see. How's my wind? Is my wind too bad? Let me see. I've got this sock I'm gonna put on, but wanna try that on the. See if I can do that. Let's see here. Oh, whoop. Let's see if the gimbal wants to work for me. I think I need to get a little wind protection. It's a very official. You see, this is our daughter Caroline's sock. And that way, if I can get this on appropriately, there we go. Let me know. Let's see. All right. No, still not getting any. There we go. All right. So hopefully that's a bit better. But you'll see our foaling mares are turned out right now. And then after lunch, they'll be brought in to the barn. So we have 24-hour care of them, watching them, making sure that they, are assisted in their foaling. We just have 3 to go, which is a very exciting time here at the farm. Let's see, in there we have a mare named Elusive Raven, another mare named Jacquaranda. Last year when we did this, which was really fun, thanks to the team at Churchill Downs and Maggie Ray and her consulting group and driving social media. If you haven't tuned in, but I'm guessing you have, there's some great content where they've put cameras on some of the jockeys in the mornings, and you can watch a full 360 exercise for some of the top candidates, and it's really cool. I am of neither size, stature, nor accomplished rider to ride horses well, and certainly not under the twin spires, and the jockey cams are just amazing. So well done to the team there. And so this is Jacquaranda. So last year we spent quite a bit of time with Jacquaranda and her Justify filly. She wants all. She doesn't want. She doesn't want to share any attention with Elusive Raven. She wants all the attention for herself. So you see, there's Elusive Raven there. You can kind of see how her pregnancy is starting to kind of get, closer to her hips, and so she's getting closer and closer to foaling as they're. And Jacquaranda the same here. She's starting to, her foal is moving back, and you can kind of see. You see those spots on Jacquaranda? Those spots are called dapples. And when a horse is feeling really good and really healthy, that's the way they kind of bloom. Is she shows off her dapples. And so you'll see over the next day at Churchill at the races, you'll see lots of horses dappled out where they're feeling really good and starting to, hopefully put on, be at their peak fitness. So this is Coffee Click. Coffee Click was a grade 1 winner herself. She's also by Medaglia d'Oro. And this is her foal, who's by Irrigate. Another, I know, I mean, you'd say that we were, had a theme going, but this little guy, Colt, he when he came out, he had a couple ribs that were, we'd call them sprung, and so we gave him some time. So he's a little bit bigger. He's about 3 weeks old, and so for him, in order to let his kind of ribs heal, we left him. He was in the stall for 10 days or so, and then he was in that, you see that little outdoor stall we'd call a round pen before being turned out here in full paddock turnout. So after they're born, again, foals are typically born at nighttime under kind of the cover of darkness, and they this safety in the wild. My wife Beth and I went to Cumberland Island, Georgia for our honeymoon, and there they've got a wild herd of horses, and I learned more about kind of horses in the wild there than I had previously. But so as under the cover of darkness, they'll typically have foals. So in the wild, they would wander away from their herd, and then they would have their foal, and then by morning they would have rejoined the herd and kind of left their foaling area and then rejoin the herd by morning. Here they will oftentimes foal in the night, evening time, and then we observe and assist, and are there to just make sure that everything is done safely. Marianne asked, great question, Marianne. So we typically of the 90 or so mares that are here on the farm right now, we own about 5 of them. So people, our clients will pay us to take care of them and raise them. We're like, I use the example that we're a nursery. So we're like, we'll take horses from conception through high school graduation. When they're done here with their time here, they will go to the pros where they're taught how to be ridden. That's kind of the college years. And then they will go to, and then after that, they go to college where they're taught how to be ridden. And then once they've done that, they go to the racetrack and compete on the racetrack. So let's see. I'm going to try. Oh, let's see if my gimbal, it didn't want to work for me. I'm going to try that again. Maybe once I get in the car, it will engage as it should. That is Terrific Treasure, the mare. I think y'all can hopefully see that. You see where, and then here is Never Give Up. And so you see this, that is, we're going to go see. I think I know who that is, but I don't want to be, I don't want to mislead. It wouldn't be fair. But the dark bay mare here is Never Give Up. And the lighter bay. So dark bay is what you would, I think it'll be fairly straightforward when you see. And of course, they don't want to come play. Ooh. So at this stage, these foals are about 2 weeks old, and so they've started buddying up. We're teaching them how to socialize, and they'll be together so after they're born, they'll be turned out with just their mom for about a week to 10 days, and then we will turn them out with another friend to teach them how to socialize for a week to 10 days. And so after that, then we'll turn them out into the field with a group of similarly aged horses. So this is Creative Grace and her Oscar Performance foal, and then Terrific Treasure and her Uncle Mo foal. I'm gonna come over here and see. This is Never Give Up and her Oscar Performance foal. I hope y'all can hear that. I personally, one of my favorite sounds in the world is the sound of horses grazing, so I'm going to try and get. So Never Give Up's father is Warfront, and her mother's name is Ensenada. And so you see there's her foal there saying, "Mom, ooh, hi." She said, "Oh, hi. Mom, can we go play? What should we be doing?" And Mom is much more interested, as you can probably hear, in the green, fresh Kentucky grass. Look at that face. Look at that face. All right. Well, so these guys were all these guys and gals were born in the last 2 to 3 weeks, and so we're going to go and see some foals who were born about a month to 6 weeks ago, and hopefully by the end of our little time together, you'll have an idea of kind of how quickly they change, and really, obviously in size and strength, but also in their confidence and how you saw how Never Give Up's baby didn't want to leave her mother very quickly or readily, and you'll see in the next batch how they start to become a little bit more confident, and then with the last batch, the oldest, you'll see that they are, quite confident and proud. I'm gonna try and juggle the Bluetooth and on my car. I got a new car a few weeks ago. I traded my tape deck for a Bluetooth synced car, so I'm still figuring it out. But hopefully I get this all sorted and situated. If there are any questions as we drive. We can. So Ellie, our foaling protocol, I think, if I understand it correctly, hopefully this answers it. So we will bring our mares and foals in. Pick up. So I'm hoping that my mic stays with my phone. So if not, yeah, y'all might still be able to hear me. Hopefully. Let me see. Let's see. Gotta get a little bit of airflow, but not so much that I'm overrun. So our foaling protocol. So we will have foaling mares that are expecting to foal. So how is this? Let me start with a mare or a horse is pregnant for 11 months. They have an 11-month gestation. And so when they're about 10 and a half to 11 months, or about 10 to 10 and a half months, we will bring them to the foaling barn, and we will bring the mares in at night to observe them. And then during the daytime, they're turned out and grazing. Pregnant mothers in their last few weeks are less playful than they are otherwise. So I think the more appropriate description is they will, be out during the daytime and then brought in at nighttime, and we will observe them. As I kind of tried to show on Jacquaranda before I got too wet, was that we will. Oh, we got a little traffic here, so I'm going to back up because my grandmother was adamant to try not to drive on the grass, and so we have a one-lane road here at the farm, and we work hard to try and not have it maintain the grass on the sides. So we're gonna. Sorry, I hope that this isn't too much making you seasick. So mares are brought in at nighttime. We observe them, as I try to show on Jacquaranda. We had Tia's gonna want to say hi. Sorry, I'm giving a virtual tour. See ya. So on Jacquaranda, so the foal will start to move back in the mare's torso as it's getting closer to as she's getting closer to foal. Also, her hips and the muscles on her hips will really start to loosen up as she starts to open up her her birth. I guess the birth canal will kind of open up, because what she's trying to do is the foal kind of rests in and grows and develops as like a U underneath the mare, and then when she goes to foal, the foal kind of flips around and is presented with two hooves and a face, kind of like Superman. Is kind of what you're looking for. So the mare will also, in her last few weeks before she foals, she'll start to develop, and she'll start to develop like you can see milk present in her udder, and this is so we have a fun group from Louisville here who's just leaving. They've spent the last hour and a half or so seeing some mares and foals and feeding some carrots, and we have been giving tours through horse country for the past 4 or 5 years. I guess horse country started 6 years ago as a nonprofit to make it easier for farms to give tours, and so we are, which has been incredible. And our main focus here at Mill Ridge is to connect people with horses, and so that when you come visit, you can meet our horses and really have that experience of a horse kind of breathing on you and feeding a horse carrots. As my grandmother always said, let a horse breathe on someone and they'll become a fan for life. And so that's our hope, and our hope with horse country was really sharing the story of our incredible animals, and that's our main focus. We are so blessed and so fortunate to be able to work with horses every day, and want to share that tremendous fortune with others. So I'm going to pop out here and show you our next oldest batch. I think I need to do. All right. Can you all hear me now? Well, so far so good. All right. Let's see. I'm going to hop this really quickly. All right. We're going to go up and over, down. All right. So you see how these mares and foals are about, a month to 6 weeks old. Hi. Let me see. I think you are 5 and 40. Let's see. Got it right. You see that? 5 and 40. This is her Uncle Mo. This is her Uncle Mo colt. Look at that proud guy. So he's about 6 weeks old. And you see, I bet that if I go like this, he's like, what are you doing? I want to come check you out. Gonna go back, look at his mom, come back and check me out. And you can see in just a month's time how much more curious and confident he is than the Never Give Up foal, where the Never Give Up foal, rightly so, just at a week old, had kept his mother, Never Give Up, between he and I. Whereas this guy's like, oh, I'm kind of uncertain. Mom, what do you think? Maybe I'm going to come check you out. Yeah, okay. Mom doesn't seem too concerned. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. What are you holding? Which I love. I love to see, this kind of curiosity. And that's part of our, responsibility here at Mill Ridge, is to really have, share positive kind of human. We want to raise horses that are confident and trusting of humans. So this, horses are herd animals, and how the race, plays out at the Derby is, the play out of these herd dynamics, right? Like I'm faster than you. No, you're not. Well, let's race. You'll watch you'll watch our horses as they grow and develop, really develop that competitive spirit. And we're wanting to really nurture that and nurture that confidence with working with humans and all those things. So you see, I think y'all can see the mare with the big white face is named Zia, and that's her Catholic boy filly, who is a serious filly. Look at this. Look at this little messer. Hi. Look at this little messer. So so last year we started doing virtual tours at Mill Ridge, and so that is not Zia's baby, and this little baby is like, what? There's Zia's baby. And so for those who have tuned in to our virtual tours before, you will know about our yearling now named Fancy Face. So this is Fancy Face's mother, Zia. She gets her marking from her father, Munnings, and this is hi. There we are. Sorry, guys. This is Velvet Mood. This is an Into Mischief foal. Who is? Look how confident you are. Because Velvet Mood is over there. Look how confident this filly is. I love it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're like, I want more attention. I want more attention. So you see the difference in just a month and a half between the two, between Never Give Up and this Into Mischief filly out of Velvet Mood, and then you see this Catholic boy filly as well. This is Fancy Face's little sister, and you can see, how they were playing with each other, and they're starting to kind of grow and mature, and that curiosity. Um, quite frankly, just like we have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, almost 4. Caroline would say I'm 3.5. I'm 3.5, even though she's technically 3 and 9 months, so 3 3/4. But she, watching her change from when she was 2 and 2.5 to where she is now and how confident she is kind of what you're seeing in the foals and in their development. And so these guys also, now that they're bigger and stronger, they spend more time outside. So they'll be turned out. They'll be brought in the morning, and then they're going to be turned out right about lunchtime, and they'll be brought in the next morning. So now their routine, just spending a lot more time outside, a lot more time playing, and a lot more time just kind of um, being horses. So um, we have a significant team who supports us. We have blacksmiths. Blacksmiths are, they take care of a horse's hooves and making sure that they, grow and develop appropriately. We have a number of key veterinarian who's kind of our main coordinator, who's Dr. Jackie Snyder with Hagyard Equine Medical, and you can also visit Hagyard and Root and Riddle on tours, which is amazing to see the level of care and the technology that goes into taking care of horses every day. We have an equine surgeon named Dr. Bob Hunt, who is our surgeon, and he comes out and does weekly house calls where he evaluates a horse's limbs and how they're in flight. So our daughter Caroline, who I've mentioned, she was really pigeon-toed initially, and with humans, we'd ask the pediatrician, like, do you think that what'll happen? And the pediatrician was very confident in her ability that as her quadriceps developed, they would kind of pull her ankles and feet around, so she'd be much more, much straighter. And he's been accurate. He has been accurate. Our pediatrician has. But that's the same thing that we'll do for horses. So our job and responsibility in raising and nurturing the horses through their development is to make sure that their limb alignment is, as correct as possible. And if Caroline, our daughter, if she hadn't strengthened and gotten, her knee and ankles started to come around straight, then we could have Caroline might have worn special shoes, or she might have worn slept in braces or something like that. With horses, you can do similar things. You can put them into special shoes that encourage their hooves to hit on the outside of the hoof as opposed to the inside, which help kind of pull their knees kind of around to the outside. Likewise, you can go and you can put a very small screw into their joint, and that can apply pressure on the growth so that they grow in a more kind of, I guess, straight direction. This, I think that you can see it, and I'm sorry for the overcast day, or I guess let's just call it rain, because that's what it is. It's a rainy day. But these are, I tell you what, I'm going to keep moving. These are yearling fillies, and they're there, which is, if I'm going to make one, I think I'll be best suited to make one run into the rain, and I think I'm going to do it with the older foals, because again, that was the main focus of that's what I promised, and you have to deliver. I try not to be someone who's going to disappoint, especially not on Derby week. But this is our favorite view of the farm, and I hope that you can get an appreciation. The farm was laid out by my grandmother and my uncle and a landscape designer named Horst Schock. And Horst's vision for the farm was that you would only see road you were on and not see road elsewhere. And so as a landscape architect, that was kind of how he laid the farm out with my grandmother and my uncle, so that the fields and the roads were very kind of complementary with the way that the farm naturally laid. Here are older mares and foals, and this is, if you're not familiar, we participate with the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame's Foal Patrol this year, and this is our Foal Patrol star, Miss Chapin, and this is her Oscar Performance foal. And yes, there's a theme. We are standing a stallion named Oscar Performance, and his first crop are yearlings of this year. Hey, bud. I think that we did a contest, and I'm sorry to not remember this, but I believe that his marking looks like a scrap wrench, and I think that I can't remember who the winner was, and I'm sorry, that's on me. But we named him a farm name that was great. I want to say it was Frank, but I don't think that that's right. But maybe Stan. Maybe it's Stan because of Stanley wrenches. I think that was it, because he looks like he's got a scrap wrench on his head. Hey, Mama, how are you? Dabinette. So I'll tell you some naming stories. So this mare is her father is named Blame, and her mother is named Sharp Apple, and she was bred and raised by my grandfather. And Dabinette is a type of apple that is very tart and a very tart apple, and a Dabinette apple, and she has a very sassy personality. One could say tart, but as long as you didn't take that as a derogatory way, because she is so sweet, and that is her Oscar Performance foal there. So this batch, you'll see Dabinette kind of, again, curious, wandering, checking things out. So, the moms will graze grass and eat grass as part of their diet. The foals at this stage, they're grazing, but it's more out of like a habit and watching their mothers do than actually for kind of nutritional content. Sorry, we're well hydrated over here at Mill Ridge. So they're kind of grazing and playing and checking things out, and I think this is a really cool foal. I mean, he's always gotten lots of attention because he's on Foal Patrol, and so he people, but he's deserving of the personality. I mean, he's very confident and he's curious. Yeah, aren't you? Oh, aren't you? But you see, he's getting all his nutrition from his mom. So they'll nurse. They will nurse. They would nurse in the wild through kind of their, I guess, the first year or so, year and a half, until the stallion that kind of, I guess, so a stallion, a male horse will have a group of female horses, mares, and then once the boys in that group, the foals that are his offspring, get to a certain age, he will kick them out, and they will then go and work to try and find their own mares. And so anyway, horses would nurse until they're 1.5 years, 2 years old, maybe, before they were kind of kicked out of the herd. But here, what will happen is that, as you can see, Stan here getting more interested in me. These guys, he's not an insignificant size. He's not an insignificant size. So come, and he's just 8 weeks old, 9 weeks old. So come June, he's going to be they're very good sized, and they play rough, and they climb on their moms, and they just play rough, and they play rough with each other, and the moms are like, I'm good here. And so at that stage, we'll start to wean, what we call wean, where we start separating the mares from their foals. And what we'll do is we'll take like that batch there of 10 mares and foals. We will pull 1 or 2 mares out on the first day, and then we will give it a few days, and we'll pull another 2 or so mares out, and so you're left with 6 mares and 10 foals, and then 4 mares and 10. That batch, so then you'll have 2 patient mares and 10 foals, and we'll let that batch be together for about a week and a half or 2 weeks, and then we'll pull those 2 mares out, and it'll just be the foals, be the now weanlings. And it's so funny because when they're with their moms, the foals have pretty good manners. In all fairness, they have pretty good manners. And then once their moms, once they're no longer with their moms, when the cat's away, the mouse will play, and so they just become very bold and confident, and so they almost have to like relearn their manners. And every farm is different. We will always lead the foals from the day they're born all the way. Always we will lead the foals. They would follow their moms wherever their moms went, but we want to introduce them to humans, and we want to have that looks like a baby. What kind of hawk is that? Sorry, that was a little hawk. Not a red tail, but the kestrel. I think that's a kestrel, if I'm not mistaken. That's right. Good timing on the did you know? And on the bird front, we actually have got quite a few hummingbirds right now. We've just put out some. We saw some coming through, and so we added a couple hummingbird feeders. So yeah, it's really wonderful. Getting back to kind of horse and the farm. So about 3 years ago, we dedicated. 2 years ago, we dedicated 3 years to adding 60 trees a year to the farm, wanting to make sure that over the next several decades that we had appropriate tree growth and development. And so it's been really wonderful to watch these trees come to life, and I'm really excited. We've done it again for 2 years, and looking forward to this next year. So this is our oldest batch of foals. I know, talk about a little derby. I think that it's going to be a really fun race. I wish that I could tell you a Millridge horse who was in the derby and who we're going to be pulling hard for, but unfortunately we don't have a starter this year. But that's okay. There's always next year, and that's the goal of the derby. In fact, we have a couple. Let's see, there's a maiden race at the very end of the derby where a horse named Smith's Point is running, and he was raised here, and she was raised here, and I'm very excited about her in this field. So you see Steve, we run about 600 acres currently, and we have about 35 full-time team members who help us take care of it. We mow, so this is a sweet assay and he too is an Oscar Performance foal. Oscar Performance is the world record holder at a mile on the turf. He ran a mile on the turf in 1 minute 31.23 seconds. And you see how his mother is way over there. Back up, boy. Sometimes they're like, hey, you high five. You want to high five me? But I don't want to high five you because I don't have hooves. This is Intensify. So for those who have watched this is the Pistol's little brother. So you see here how the two of them are buddied up and do you see the difference kind of in how they're behaving and how they're more interested, well, in me right now, collectively. These are like the troublemakers. Go on, I'm trying to show you off. I'm trying to show you off. I'm not trying to play. I know, it's hard. It's hard not to want to play. I know. There you go. Now you two play. There you go. That's more your speed. You see, there's the Pistol's mother, and there's Sweet Assay, still with me. Tenacious. He's like the Tenacious D. So I'm going to put this mare in front. Oh, but you were supposed to help me more. There we go. Yeah, go play with him. He plays better. See, it's so funny. So Holly, this year we're going to have about 65 foals. We'll foal depending on how many mares and how many pregnant mares. We'll foal anywhere between 65 and 90. On our current land, about 65, 70 is about as many as we can do. Hi, Mama. So this mare's name's Enthrall, and her Uncle Mo. So horses are so funny. You see how her eyes on the side of her, and she's watching me right now, even though she's still watching me even right here. And I don't know if you notice where she. Hi, Mama. That mare, that really dark bay mare, is named Just Around Midnight, and she is the mother of our most recent Grade 1 winner named Duopoly. And Duopoly is about to return. She's a turf filly, and she's about to return to the races. So they had been talking about pointing her for the Beau Gay, which is a race at Belmont, maybe this weekend. So I haven't seen the entries, or not whether know that she's in or not. But this is her Oscar Performance filly sister, and I think you can get a pretty good feel for how much they've changed. This foal was born around Valentine's Day, so I think hopefully you can get a feel for that. Again, this is Enthrall and her Uncle Mo. Look at that handsome colt. And then let's see, who else do we have? This is an Oscar Performance, and the mother's name is you again. Oh, you. Oh, yeah. Emma Lazarus is her name. That's the gray. His name's Fast Bridled. Here's the Pistol's mom. For those who have tuned in and joined us for a little while, you know the Pistol, who is actually out in the field across the way. Oftentimes people ask, well, do they recognize their mom? Because so Intensify's yearling is down there in that bottom. And even though they're next to each other, that rarely do we see that they recognize each other. In fact, sometimes you'll have mothers and daughters in the same field together, and it doesn't appear that they become really good friends again or anything like that. That mare, the gray mare, Fast Bridled, she gets her gray color from her father, Unbridled Song, who was a very prolific racehorse. He's very fast, and he's become a very prolific broodmare sire, meaning his daughters have been great producers. So you see, that was funny. So the wind is coming from my left, so the screen left to right. You kind of see how, as the wind picks up, they'll kind of, well, that Mare isn't, but the foal is kind of pointing their backs to the wind. So as the rain and the wind come through, and if there were bad storms or anything like that, they would, that water and that wind would be broken up by their tail and their mane, and they would hold their kind of eyes kind of closed so that they could not get the wind and rain in their eyes. They other fun fast facts about thoroughbreds and horses in general is they have a ligament in their hips that they can engage and bear all their weight on their skeletal system, so they can sleep standing up and not not get tired, whereas we get tired if we stand up too long because our muscles have to hold us up. And I guess maybe the last fun fact, or one of the last fun facts that I like to share, is that horses go from 0 to top speed in 3 jumps. And so they go from 0 to about 35 miles an hour in 3 jumps. I think it's too far away, but I'm trying to catch the yearling colts here are racing against each other in the field. So I'm going to try and hope that they take a right so that you can see them just playing like boys. I don't know. I don't know. I'll try and zoom. Oh, look, I can zoom. All right, let's see. Yeah, they're just kind of like blobs when I do that, so maybe I won't do that. Let me see. There we go. Up and over again. Easy, boys. Easy, boys. You need to be told it is too rainy and too slick to be doing this. There you go. Easy. Man, they're so graceful, aren't they? They're just so graceful. With that, I should probably, unless there are any other questions, I tell you, it has been such a pleasure to be with y'all today. And I can't thank Maggie and Churchill enough, and the team at Horse Country, for making this happen. Please stay tuned and engaged. You can find us on Facebook if you don't follow us currently. We are the most active in Facebook, and you can visit us in person, which I hope you will, by going to visithorseCountry.com and looking for Millridge. We are always trying to find ways to connect people with these incredible animals, and just because we feel so blessed to be able to work with them every day. Hey, how are you? I know. It's so good to see you. Do you all know that it's the Derby weekend? Are you guys trying to show off or something? Hi. May all your Derby dreams come true, and we look forward to seeing you very soon.